we move on to look at the kind of concerns about people hearing your thoughts or reading your mind in a bit more detail.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay?
Yep.
Can you think of the last time that it happened?
Yeah, this morning on the way to come and see you.
Okay. What was it? The whole journey, or?
Pretty much, yeah, from start to finish. It was worse when I was on the bus, but it kind of started when I left the house, and as it kind of got busier walking down the street. But it was worse when I got on the bus. It was really bad then.
Okay.
It lasted the whole time I was on the bus.
So you were sat on the bus, and you were worried that people were hearing your thoughts?
Yeah.
And is it that you're worried that they hear your thoughts out loud, or that they can kind of read your mind sort of telepathically?
They can definitely hear them out loud.
Okay.
Definitely hear them.
Okay. Do you think that I can potentially hear your thoughts now?
Sometimes I do, yeah.
Okay. Is that particularly worrying for you at the moment?
It's not too bad because I'm talking to you, so it's not as bad because you know what's been going on and because I'm talking to you. But sometimes it worries me, but it worries me more with people that I don't know, because it makes me think, what are they thinking about me?
Okay. Well, if it does worry you at any point during the session, just let me know and we can have a look at that.
Okay.
So you were on the bus and you were worried that people were hearing your thoughts.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Really stressed out. Really. I just wanted to cry and run off the bus, and if I hadn't been coming seeing you, I think I would have got off at the next stop. Just like my heart's racing, and I feel so stressed out. I feel a bit frightened as well when I'm on the bus.
Seems like it might be quite a frightening experience.
Yeah, it is. Depending on, like, there was quite a lot of like blokes and like women and stuff on the bus, and school kids and stuff. So it was just, with all of them knowing what's been going on, I was really frightened.
Okay. And so when you were worried that people were hearing your thoughts, sounds like that was extremely kind of stressful and frightening for you.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you kind of to actually get off the bus.
Yeah.
But you were able to kind of stay on it.
Yeah.
Was there anything you were doing to kind of try and make the situation any better, or kind of prevent people from hearing your thoughts? Or
I was just trying to stop thinking as much as I could. I was just trying to tell myself, stop thinking, don't think about anything, or try and think about something else, something that they won't mind hearing, that maybe they won't think I'm a bad person for. And I was just desperately trying to like get these thoughts sort of away from me, but I just couldn't, and I was just getting more and more panicky and thinking about it more, and so I was trying to do that, and then I was trying to stop looking at people. I was trying to check, like whether they were looking at me, but I kept trying to look down and like try and avoid them, because I thought maybe if I avoid looking at them, they might kind of leave me alone and stop like paying attention to what I'm thinking. Okay.
So it sounds like there were kind of some mental strategies that you were using in terms of trying not to think about anything and kind of trying to control your thoughts. Yeah. And also there were some kind of other things you were doing in terms of kind of avoiding eye contact with people. And that sort of thing. Okay. In terms of the sort of situation, was there any particular kind of anything that seemed to sort of start it happening, or what was going on when you first noticed it?
I think as I got on the bus, it was the way the bus driver was looking at me. Okay. So like I smiled at him, and he was just looked me up and down, really like not very pleasant at all. And like there was a few people in front of me, like a woman, and she had a little kid with her, and she kind of turned around and looked at me, and I just thought, like, because she got a child, she obviously really judges badly what I've done, and she looked me up and down, and then it made me think about what I've done, and then it was just like the whole bus then knew, and so but it was kind of the way they were looking at me. It was like,
And when you say they all knew what you've done, what do you mean?
Well, because I had an abortion about 6 months ago, they all because when I saw the kid, he was looking at me. I was like, it's obvious that he knows what I've done, and he must be really disgusted with me, and like that I've done that. So it was obvious that they knew what I was thinking.
Certainly sounds like a very stressful kind of situation.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's why I get frightened, because like I thought that woman was going to say to me about, how could you do that, and that's awful that you've done that. Like look at this child, kind of thing. It was really stressful.
Okay. And when you sort of were worried about that woman, kind of confronting you about it, was that just kind of normal worry, or did you have an image of that happening in your mind?
Yeah, it was like, I felt like she was just going to turn around and like scream at me and just say, you're a really bad person and you deserve this, you deserve to be like, punished, and everybody know what you've done. And I could see her like pointing at me and shouting, and the bus driver starting as well, saying, yeah, you're horrible. And it was really kind of like, it just felt like it was, really clear in my mind and really real. She was going to shout and she'd be red in the face. And
so clearly, really stressful situation, and it's very strong of you, I think, to have stayed in the situation you kind of got here. If we have a look at it in the sort of format we've used for other things, in terms of thinking about what happened, how you kind of make sense of it, how you feel and what you do, would that be okay?
Yeah, that'd be good.
So in terms of what happened, it sounds like it was kind of just getting on the bus, really, and having a thought about the abortion. And it sounds like as soon as you saw the bus driver, kind of felt that he was looking at you, it's kind of funny, had that thought, then it sounds like immediately you kind of started to worry that other people on the bus would hear that thought and kind of know what happened. And it sounds like you're kind of worried that they might judge you negatively and potentially even confront you.
And start have a go at me.
So in terms of the kind of ways that you made sense of it, were thinking about it, you had they can hear my thoughts. But also worried that they'd kind of judge you, and were worried that they might even kind of confront you. Do you worry that they might actually attack you physically, or? A
little bit, yeah. I wasn't as worried about like the woman attacking me, but there were like some men on the bus that I thought might, Okay.
So in that specific situation, how much were you certain that people could hear your thoughts?
Definitely, I knew that.
So 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
And how about worried that they were going to judge you negatively?
100%.
Okay. And in terms of the worries about them confronting you?
I was kind of like 98% certain that somebody would. Okay. There's a lot of people on the bus.
So, kind of thinking all those things and believing them very strongly, it's not surprising that in terms of the way you felt, it was very stressed.
Yeah, it was really stressful.
Frightened, you mentioned. And it sounds like you also noticed a lot of physical changes in terms of kind of tension and.
Yeah, I felt really sick and my heart was just going so quick.
Okay. And in terms of kind of feeling stressed and frightened, how, if we tried to use the same sort of 0 to 100 scale, how strong would you say that feeling was?
Like 100% stressed and frightened. And the physical things were just awful, really, really bad. Like 99, 100%, just really bad.
Okay. So, very, very difficult kind of situation.
Yeah.
And it sounds like in terms of what you did, there were a variety of things that you did to try and kind of control the situation or make yourself feel better. So, or avoid some of these things from happening.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you were trying to kind kind of control and not think about things. Is that not think specifically about the abortion, or just think about nothing? Or?
More not think about the abortion, but I just kind of thought if I could have a blank mind, then nobody would be able to know anything else about me.
Okay. Any other sort of strategies you use to try and control your thoughts, or?
I just tried like trying to sing a song in my head, or like thinking about what I was passing. Like trying to think like, well, there's a school and.
So trying to distract yourself. From writing.
Yeah.
Okay. Which again makes sense, I think, given what you've described.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned kind of things to try and avoid the kind of confrontation and being judged, so avoiding eye contact.
Yeah, I was just trying to I did keep looking up because I wanted to see who was looking at me and what kind of faces they were pulling, but then I'd just try and glance down really quickly and kind of cover my face with my hair as much as I could.
Okay, so trying to avoid eye contact, but with kind of quick checking glances, as it were. To sort of just check what's going on, and kind of trying to cover your face with your hair.
Yeah.
Okay. And did in terms of thinking about controlling your thoughts, trying to have a blank mind, specifically trying to not think of the abortion.
Yeah.
Did that work?
Not really. I just it kept popping back into my head. Like I tried not to think about it, and then the more I tried not to think about it, it was just there, kind of thing, and I could just remember things about it, and so it didn't work brilliantly.
Okay. And in terms of trying to have a blank mind, distract yourself, singing and so on. Did you feel that in any way that prevented people from hearing your thoughts?
A little bit, like because they can hear everything I'm thinking, they could still, hear what was going through my mind. But at least it wasn't, something bad about me. At least it was just anything. So it did make me feel a little bit like, well, maybe they'll get bored. Maybe they'll just stop listening to me.
Okay. So it sounds like that you still felt that they could hear your thoughts, but maybe less concerned that they were going to judge you because it wasn't kind of anything to be judged.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like, although you tried for very understandable reasons to kind of control your thoughts, have a blank mind, try not to think about the abortion. It sounds like that wasn't an especially kind of successful strategy.
No, it never is.
Sort of still found it popping back into your mind, which presumably kind of made you more concerned about these things every time it popped back in.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, have you ever sort of thought about how difficult it can be sometimes to not think about things?
Not really thought about it. I think it probably is difficult to not think because it just keeps coming back, but not thought too much about it.
And certainly a lot of the people that I see have said that it can be very difficult to kind of, they often want to not think specific things, but it can be very difficult. And I'm wondering if it might be worth us doing a little experiment just kind of in the session today. To try and think about that.
Yeah.
So
that would be good.
And just kind of see what happens, and then we can think about what that might mean for kind of the situation that you were in.
Okay, that would be good. Okay? Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do is just going to ask you to try not to think about something kind of specific.
Okay.
And just see how you go for a little while.
Yeah. Okay.
So, do you have a favourite animal? We'll do it with something nice.
Yeah.
So it's not too distressing for you.
Yeah.
What's your favourite animal?
An eagle.
Okay. And do you have a favourite football team?
Kind of. Yeah.
What's that?
City.
Pleased to hear that. What I'd like you to do is think about what sort of eagle would it be?
Golden.
Golden eagle. Okay. So I'd like you to try very hard not to think about a golden eagle wearing a Manchester City top.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So whatever you do, try not to either think about the words or have any pictures in your mind related to either the golden eagle or Manchester City, and specifically not an eagle in a Manchester City top.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll maybe time you just for a minute or so,
Okay.
and then we'll see what happens. So
Okay.
maybe if you close your eyes
Yeah.
and try very hard not to think of an eagle in a Manchester City top.
Okay.
Okay. I'll let you know when a minute's up.
Okay.
Okay, we'll assume a minute's up.
Okay.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yeah, it just kept popping. I kept trying to think of like people's faces, like my friends' faces, and stuff. But it'd just be there behind them. I just couldn't quite get it out of my head. It just seemed to come back every time I tried and think of something different.
Okay. What do you make of that?
It's hard, isn't it, to push something out of your head if you try not to think about it. It just seems hard to maybe push it out of your head. It just seems to come back. Maybe that's just how we are. I don't know.
Well, certainly a lot of people say that when they try deliberately to not think about something, it seems to be counterproductive sometimes.
Yeah.
And, certainly there have been, big kind of studies done on large numbers of people.
Right.
And pretty much everybody finds it very difficult.
Yeah, it was.
to do.
It was really hard.
So if trying deliberately not to think about the abortion has the opposite effect, which it sounds like it does for you sometimes, and certainly on the bus this morning it sounded like kind of trying hard to not think about it kept popping back in.
It did, yeah.
What does that suggest to you that you might do differently, if anything?
Maybe just try to not stop myself from thinking about it, just to, maybe if it's there, just, I don't know, let myself maybe just think something and then it might just go, like try and not stop myself from thinking it, possibly. Then it might just disappear naturally.
And that's obviously a difficult thing to do, particularly with the
'cause
thought that distresses you and when people are hearing your thoughts.
Yeah.
But I guess if trying hard to not think of it is actually making it more likely to happen, then finding some way of kind of, just kind of letting it happen, but try and let it go as well and not kind of, dwell on it. Might be helpful.
Okay.
Can you think of any kind of strategy that you might be able to do to kind of let the thought happen, but so not trying to push it away, but not getting too kind of caught up in it either?
Maybe I could just think about it for a certain amount of time. I don't know. Maybe just think about it for a little bit and then see if it goes. I'm not sure really.
I mean, why do you think it is on your mind? Why do you think it pops in?
Because I feel bad about it partly, and partly because I'm worried about what other people think about it and like consequences of it. I think. Okay.
And maybe that's something we could look at. Another time, maybe next week. Is try and help you sort of kind of make sense of it a bit and see if we can help in terms of feeling bad about it and so on. But it certainly sounds like if it is something that you kind of are feeling bad about, and is an important issue to you, it's understandable that it's going to pop into your head.
Yeah.
And maybe just kind of trying to view it as an understandable thing,
Yeah.
and then kind of let it go.
Yeah.
Might be helpful.
Okay.
Would that be okay to try that?
I can try that. Yeah, I can have a go.
And in terms of whether it helps or not, how will we know whether it's kind of made a difference?
Well, if I stop thinking about it as much, so say like when I was coming here, I just thought about it majority of the time because I just kept trying to stop thinking about it. So if I end up thinking about it less by not trying to push it out of my head, then I suppose that would help.
Okay. And would that make you feel less stressed and
well, yeah, because then people wouldn't be judging me on it. Okay. So if it wasn't in my head as much, then people wouldn't obviously judge me on that. Like, I don't think they judge me on other things necessarily that I'm thinking. So that would be really helpful if I'd feel less worked up about.
Okay. So in order to sort of see if it can help you feel less stressed and worked up, and actually have, the effect that you're trying for in the first place in terms of thinking about it less.
Yeah.
You're going to try not to kind of push those thoughts away and just kind of accept it as a understandable thought.
Okay. Yeah.
Which could you see that as something that you could try?
I can definitely try it. Yeah. I want to try anything really, and I think it's made sense that from what we've talked about that it's not working anyway. So if it's not working, then I'm happy to try anything really.
Okay. So would you be okay trying that between now and next time?
Yeah.
And I guess one possibility would be to just try it sort of every day.
Yeah.
And I guess another possibility would be to try it on some days but not all of them, and then you could maybe compare
can do that,
how it goes trying to just let them happen versus what you've been doing up until now.
Okay.
Which do you think would be better?
I think maybe I might just try and see if I do it alternate day. But if I find I can do it, I'll just try and do it every day. I might just try at the start just to see, if I can do it, and then if I can't, then it helps, I'll try and do it more, I think.
Okay. Is it okay if we kind of stop there then?
Yeah.